Today was an insane day in hockey, and I don't want to spend too much time on it because we spent a lot of time on hockey last week.
Yeah.
But let's just blow through it. Today is the day of free agency. Free agency opened up today, so there's a lot to talk about. But I'll just bang through some stuff. I'll get your opinion. Evgeny Malkin was one of the big holdouts this year. After Letang signed with Pittsburgh, everybody was like, okay, there's one of your big guys. What about the other guy? You know, elephant in the room, Malkin, the big Russian elephant sitting in the room. He believed he was not being treated with the respect of a legacy player by the Pittsburgh organization when he wasn't being offered these deals. Sidney Crosby came to his home, I think in Florida or something like that.
Not in Pittsburgh.
No, Gino's got a house in Florida because, you know, that's how he rolls. But
yeah,
he went to Gino's house in Florida, and I guess he talked to him. He ended up signing 4 years with the Penguins, 6.1 AAV, cap hit every year. That's a good deal. I think that's a good deal for Malkin.
I think that's a good deal for Pittsburgh.
That is a good deal for Pittsburgh. Malkin's older, and he hasn't played a full 82-game season in a long time. Like, that's no question. He's not the player he used to be.
Yeah, age will do that to you.
Yeah.
But it's what's his year this year in the NHL? It'll be like 15 years.
I don't know. A lot.
It's got to be something like that.
And he's put in a considerable amount of time, like good time, playing hard with the boys, like big playoff runs, super important player for Pittsburgh. So
a couple rings.
So like all respect to him. He deserved to get paid.
Yep.
6.1, just over $6 million. That's a pretty good deal for him.
Yeah, for 4 years. I think that's a retirement contract too.
I think so too.
Yeah, I think that runs out at your third year. You maybe have a fourth year option.
Yeah.
But that's okay. That's okay.
And so we'll head over to Chicago, where there's the dumpster fire of the Chicago Blackhawks.
Yeah. They're
not getting anything in return for these players, which is ridiculous. And Craig Button, TSN, whatever, he says that there is, quote, I'm quoting a man who should not be quoted, because Craig Button, he's a cool guy, but he's a bit goofy. Quote, Craig Button, there is, quote, not a chance Patrick Kane sticks with the Blackhawks through all this craziness. But most insiders are saying that most likely we're going to get an in-season trade from Patrick Kane. We're not going to lose him before the season starts.
Yeah, and I had heard a little early too, because I think this dumpster fire is self-inflicted, obviously. They want to rebuild, but the problem that, like you mentioned, they're not getting any rebuild in return. They're not getting many picks. They're not getting many young guys. They said somewhere that they'd be okay with 20-year-olds only on the team for a while. But you have to have some draft picks. You have to have something in there to help you in the next couple of years, and that's why I think Kane's going to wait to see what they can do, because he just likes the city.
Yeah, well, he's been there so long,
yeah,
right?
I think you're just doing an honorable job staying there until the season starts, and then you can say, look, we're going to go our separate ways. So
I think Patrick Kane on a different team, on like a Boston or something like that, I think he's a game changer.
He still has like a good couple of years left in him.
Absolutely.
Like, that's a good couple of years.
Yeah, so we'll keep going because we don't want to linger. Philip Forsberg for the Predators, he signed $8.5 million for 8 years. That's incredible. That is a great deal for him. He's 27 years old, 84 points, 42 goals in 69 games last season. That's a great stat line.
Sure.
But it kind of upset me, this signing, because Forsberg teased earlier, like maybe a month ago, that he was in Ottawa. And some people were saying like, oh my God, he's going to sign with Ottawa. The dude with the mustache, Philip Forsberg, he's coming to the capital of Canada, baby. And, that's my team. We're Ottawa boys, but or at least I am. But
yeah, that
would have been crazy. I think he was in town for a wedding or something.
Okay.
But anyways.
I mean, good for him. That's a long contract for somebody his age. Like, I mean, not really, but oh man,
I think that's
the
a good
Preds
deal.
too. Like, there's a couple years in there where they can better themselves, maybe make a playoff run. Hopefully, in 8 years, you got to hope that he's going to be leading a franchise in the next couple of years.
Yeah, well, they got good defense on the back with Yossi. Now they have good goaltending again. They went from Pekka Rinne, their like franchise goaltender, whose number's going to be retired for them. Now they have Jussi Saros in net, who's like looking like a stud, man. If he was healthy, they would have at least had a win in the playoffs. You'd think that they got swept in the playoffs. You'd think they'd at least win a game.
I mean, I would have hoped they would have won a game, but I wouldn't put money on it that he would have won that many game. But a couple of years for them to hopefully make it deeper into the playoffs. So good for him. Franchise guy now.
They
Way to be.
somehow Nashville has become a hockey town.
Somehow.
I don't know, but
Somehow.
hey, I like it.
Yeah.
Keeping going. The Bruins are talking to Pasternak right now about contract extensions. And GM Don Sweeney wants to make Pasta a Bruin for life, which is like, okay, who wouldn't want that? He's a great guy, great player. Right now he's on the last year of a $6.6 million, very team-friendly contract.
Yeah.
So he's going to want some dough.
Yeah, you want him to be a Bruin for life. And even if he wants that, but his last contract, like you said, 6.6. And how many years was that contract, do you know?
I don't know, long. Not that long. Like, it was more of a bridge, I guess. But
So he's going to want an extra $2 million
he's
on
gonna
top
want,
of that?
he's going to want north of... Well, you saw how much Philip Forsberg got paid,
I did.
8.5. He's going to want more than that.
You think he's going to want more than that? Well, I know
Yes.
everybody wants more than that, but I don't know if he'll get more than that.
I think absolutely
Yeah?
David Pasternak will get more than that.
All right, well, good for him. Whether he stays in Boston, free agency's a long time. So
Yeah, he's still got a year on the contract. I mean, they want to make a deal before that contract's up because then, I mean, if they lose David Pasternak without even being able to trade him, I know the Bruins are getting older. They don't know how many more runs they have left in them. Maybe it's best to trade away guys like David Pasternak who are still young and then get picks from it and then rebuild. But
because that's what I was thinking. Is a team like Boston, you're heading towards a rebuild shortly.
no, they're not. They're going for that. I'm a Bruins boy too.
You're heading in the next couple of years. You're gonna have to make some drastic changes.
I think they got 1 or 2 more good years in them,
Yeah.
and then they're gonna have to retool, or like you said, they're gonna have to cut it.
So do you want a guy on there for that long with that much money? Maybe so, but we'll keep it going. You let us know what you think.
Yeah, exactly. If you think David Pasternak's a lifetime Bruin, great. I'd love to see that as a Bruins fan. Braden Holtby, goaltender, not going to be playing. People think it's going to be the end of his career. That's okay. That's he had a long career. He won a cup with the Capitals.
Yep.
Good goaltender. Been tossed around the league a bit.
All I heard was it was lower body.
Yeah.
That's all I heard. Anything else, I have no idea what's going on. But, I mean, you never want to see a guy's career end that way, unfortunately. Especially a goalie like that who's had a good career coming off a couple years with the Caps and a cup. So, very sad, but wish him the best.
Yeah, I got a couple more goalies to touch on quick.
Oh, yeah.
John Gibson, goalie for the Ducks. He's kind of being shopped around by Anaheim right now. Like, he's a fantastic goaltender. Like, I'm talking elite in the league. He may not look like it on a team like Anaheim that frankly sucks. But, they're on the come up too. I like the way the Anaheim Ducks are looking. And I just thought it was hilarious that John Gibson's agent said that he has, and this is another quote, I'm just tossing these air quotes around, but his agent said he has, quote, absolutely no interest, end quote, in playing for the Leafs, which I just thought was really funny.
Why would you?
This was before the Leafs made their goaltender signing, which we'll get into right now. Matt Murray, Ottawa Senator, is now a Toronto Maple Leaf. Got signed. He's got 2 years left on a $6.25 million contract. Boom, out of Ottawa. Get rid of that cap hit. Send him straight to the T-dot.
That's not a good spot for him.
He got the pressure from the media in Ottawa.
Yeah.
Imagine the pressure from the media in Toronto, buddy.
You're going to break because if you can't, and the expectations in Ottawa were like mediocre at best.
They were frankly bad.
We want you to win a couple games and maybe come into maybe I think the biggest people that had the highest expectations was like maybe itch at a wild card, maybe. So for him going to the Leafs where they're expecting you to make the playoffs and then go in a couple rounds, good luck, brother.
Well, with Campbell gone, like they want him to be the starter. They want him to be the starter.
Good luck.
Yeah.
But again, this is just I see the Leafs again is going sideways. I don't see this playing out for them. But
yeah.
Hey, good luck to him. Wish him the best. He didn't do us much good in Ottawa, but go get him.
He didn't do as much good. Okay, another team that's filling out their goaltending tandem is the Avalanche, who lost Darcy Kemper. We'll touch on that soon, but filling that role of Darcy Kemper, I am not sure if it's going to be Francouz, but they signed Georgiev, who we talked about this last week. He left the Rangers because he wants to be like the main man, I guess, and they got Shesterkin now. They got Igor over there. So he leaves New York. He's headed towards the Avalanche. signed for $3.4 million for 3 years. That's a pretty good deal, and a tandem of Gio and Francouz. That's a pretty solid tandem, I guess. Francouz performed great in the playoff games that he had to this year, but is that a good enough goaltending tandem to go back to back? I don't know.
I think Colorado's mindset is look at the guys we have in front of him that can keep the puck away from him. But I mean, we saw how when they went on the run this year that you need that goalie when you need him. Like you can't play the cards, okay, we'll keep the puck away from him and only let him have 20, 25 shots a game and hope that's the best. Again, that's interesting because he'll get what he wants. I think he'll be the star goaltender in Colorado. I'm going to say that. I don't want to say for sure, but he'll get what he wants, I think. And it's a friendly contract for the Avs. It's an okay contract for him.
Yeah.
So, again, I'm wishing him the best. But like you said, is it enough to bring them back to where they were this year? We'll see. Time will tell. See. But that's interesting. That's a big hit for the Avs.
Just a little funny story because we were talking about David Pastrnak earlier. Pasta was playing with David Krejci for the World Championships after the playoffs were run, or I guess kind of during the playoffs. And I guess he was trying to convince David Krejci. We're jumping all over the place. My bad. My notes are crazy, but trying to convince David Krejci to come back to the NHL and join with the Bruins. So I guess there's some rumors talking about that right now. I don't know if he's really going to come back. I think he'd be a good fit. Obviously, like he knows the boys. That'd be a good little team up there
for that last 2 years before the rebuild.
For the last 2 years, honestly, yeah.
For real.
The Oilers lock up Evander Kane.
This is a big contract.
Wow. 4 years, 5.125 AAV. That's pretty crazy because Evander Kane in the locker room is known as a liability.
I mean, look what happened to end him up in Edmonton to begin with. He was pretty much playing for nothing. Well, he was playing for not a lot of money at all in Edmonton. And, not known to be the greatest team guy. But when you put a playoff performance like he did, that speaks more maybe for what you are in the locker room.
He has value on the ice.
Yeah.
And he may not be good in the locker room, but he's even worse in the bedroom. Okay, next up, we're going Jack Campbell headed towards the Oilers. $5 million for 5 years, 5x5 contract in Edmonton. If Jack Campbell performs in Edmonton like he performed in Toronto this year, like at the peak of his performance, my God, like the Oilers are set.
So we talked about this a little bit on the last episode that Smith had a good run, but he wasn't the guy that took them to that extra level. This is scary because this is a guy that will take them to that next level. And this pretty much matches them with Colorado. Well, it did with Colorado's last goalie, but this pretty much matches them. Like this is a good one-on-one matchup. If they were to replay the Stanley Cup playoffs, if they were to match up, that's a scary matchup.
Like, I do think that kind of solidifies them. If they can get another defenseman or they can, like, prove that their defense is ready to go, I think that shows that the Oilers can really be that top team in the West. Yeah, I can see them pushing for the Stanley Cup Finals, definitely.
I think that's crazy that they were able to work that out. It's honestly, it's not the worst contract that I thought either. Like, I thought Jack, he might take up a little bit more than that.
Yeah.
But but I think he wanted to go to a team where, again, the pressure to performing is still there, but it's not like Toronto.
Well, Toronto's the biggest one.
Yeah,
right?
like I just think he's like, I need to get out of here to perform because my mental state is not even on hockey. It's about, will I be the number one most wanted human being in Toronto the next day?
Everything is a step down, like, in terms of pressure from Toronto. Like, honestly. Yeah. So, Senators, speaking of goalies, Senators and Wild trade their goalies 1-for-1 with each other, which love it.
Sure.
That's such a fun deal when you get to read that on Twitter. It's like they trade their goalies 1-for-1. That's so cool. So Goodbranson, 24-year-old goalie for Ottawa. He played a couple of games last season. Good young goalie gets traded to the Wild. Going to be backing up Marc-Andre Fleury. And Cam Talbot, Ottawa Senator, new starter, baby.
Both teams win in this trade.
I think so.
Both teams win, and thank you to Pierre Dorian for maybe, I don't know if it was him that made this happen, but thanks for whoever made this happen because, and Forsberg will finally have a little bit of consistency, I think, with those two goalies, he's not going to be worrying about fighting for a job. He knows he has a job. And whether they ride hot hand goalies or whether they go 1-1, I don't know what they're going to do to start the season. But I think both guys will be happy. So
yeah, I think that's a very good point. I think that puts Anton Forsberg, like I think that puts Forsberg's mind at ease. You know,
Yeah.
he knows like, okay, maybe Cam Talbot here is more experienced, 34 years old, like, or 35. He's a good guy. He's been around. We'll let him kind of hold the reins.
Yep.
But he knows that he has the team's trust to be that.
Yep.
That guy that can anchor them when they need it.
Yeah, and somebody to kind of help him. You know, if you're in a slump, you have a really good veteran there to help you get out of that slump, try and help you, assist you with, you know, developing as a younger goalie. So I think that's huge for him in the sense. And yeah, that I'm happy for the Ottawa Senators.
Yeah.
Figuring out that goaltender situation.
So last note that I wrote before free agency that we'll comment on is Darcy Kemper is to the Capitals. He's a Washington Capital nowadays. Yep. So that's cool. Like,
hey, their goalie gets injured and has to leave and might retire. They have no problem replacing him.
Well, Samsonov, I didn't
even
the one
think
who
about
left,
that.
isn't it? And he's on the lease now, which is crazy. They're back. And anyways, it's all over. The goalies got swapped around like musical chairs, man. It's crazy. Yeah. But yeah, Darcy Kemper, he's a good goalie. He just led a team to the Stanley Cup, winning the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, stood on his head.
Any team is going to be happy to have him. He's going to be great.
Yep.
So free agency hit today. All of the notes that I just read out, very out of order and very unorganized that I just said, I wrote before free agency hit.
Okay.
I just have a couple notes from free agency.
Let's just get through them.
GAUDREAU to Ottawa, baby. 3 years, $6.5 million, $19.5 million contract. We were reporting it all day today.
They got a veteran.
Bring the boy home. He's
Sweet.
from Ottawa. Went to school in Orleans.
Yep.
Which is an Ottawa location.
Him and Pierre Dorian had lunch in Orleans way back when Dorian was still a scout, he said in the press conference today.
That's hilarious. He played for his juniors. He played for the Gatineau Olympiques.
Yep.
And his numbers actually retired for them, which is kind of fun.
That's crazy. Good for him.
Love it. I guess we'll stick with Ottawa for now. Yeah. Colin White is off the Sens. He's to Florida, sent to Florida for 1 year at $1.2 million. I think he's worth that contract. He's a good player who's injury prone. Mm-hmm. And in the past, I don't want to speak to the man because he seems like a nice guy, but I've heard word around the pond, the canal, the Ottawa Rideau Canal is that he doesn't have the greatest work ethic, but he's turned that around in the last few years and has really been putting the work in the gym and has been pumping iron, working hard on the ice. So it's a shame to see the guy go when I was really hoping that this season specifically we'd see, well, this season, I guess last season we were going to maybe see something more from him, but it's okay. Best of luck for him.
I think some guys grow stale even though you're improving, even though you're doing what you have to do.
Yeah.
I think some guys just grow stale of the organization. So yeah, you want to see him stay, maybe improve, but at the same time, is this a big deal that he's leaving? I don't know. I don't think so. I think he's replaceable. So
yeah, I think so too. Okay, we'll bang out two quick.
Yep.
Vincent Trocheck, gone to New York, signed 7 years, $5.625 million, 7 years, and I think they're gonna change his name to Vinny Trocheck, even though some people call him that. It's he's in New York now. Yeah. You gotta change his name, just like Tony DeAngelo. Did you know that Tony DeAngelo's was called for his whole career Anthony DeAngelo until he got put on the Rangers, and then he was like, I'm Tony DeAngelo. Anyway,
you got to go with the city, I guess.
That's a rumor. That's just a rumor. I maybe read that on Twitter, but yes, I thought that was hilarious.
This next one I'm pumped about as a Wings fan.
Andrew Kopp to the Red Wings. Same price, 5.625 a year for 5 years. Mm-hmm. That's great. What a player.
That's an
really
all-around player.
Rangers.
Yeah, that's an all-around player with a little bit of playoff experience, coming to a fresh Detroit team. Stevie Y's rebuilding this just like he did with Tampa. So I don't want to jump on Stevie Y being awesome too early, but I'm so pumped that he's back in Detroit leading the team.
The Yzer plan.
Man, what he did in Tampa, though, makes me feel so good about him coming to Detroit. It's like if you could do that with Tampa, you can do it in Detroit. And Detroit's fan base is already there. They just got the new arena not too long ago. The city looks good. to a degree,
To a
obviously.
degree.
But that area is awesome. I mean, I went to Wings game growing up, and I'm just pumped that this team's come back, and then him to be there to help kind of around, like second line forwards, maybe you think?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I'm very excited about that, and I think Detroit's going to make a lot of waves in the next couple of weeks.
That would be great. I'd like to see a good team like that with some young guys start coming up. Ilya Mikheyev signs with the Canucks he's a Toronto Maple Leaf. Signed, not anymore. Signs with the Canucks 4 years at $4.75 million. Good for him. Undrafted player, I'm pretty sure. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but
Maybe
I don't know everything. But undrafted player, started playing with the Leafs basically on their top line out of nowhere. Really speedy guy. Like, good for him to get that money. Have a good time in Vancouver. I don't know if he's going to keep up his good pace that he was at 2 seasons ago. But, you know.
I mean, Vancouver, though, is another team that need guys to step up. I think that you need some nice guys to fill some shoes. So that's a good spot. If you want to put in the work, the team's open to be yours. You know what I mean? Like, you have a chance to be a star of a line. So some guys want that, though.
They don't even like their stars over there in Vancouver. They're like,
what happened to that team?
Pedersen, I hate that guy. It's like, what's like your best player? Not actually, obviously, but like, oh my God, it's brutal. Sergachev signs with the Lightning, sticking with them. Listen to this. Sergachev, 8 years at $8.5 million. They're paying these guys out the wazoo, as they say.
8 years for $8 million. That is crazy.
Crazy.
Another contract where...
Okay.
Go ahead.
Speaking of contracts.
Okay.
Brent Burns.
What about him?
This is a fantastic deal for the Hurricane. So the Hurricane lose Tony DeAngelo. He's gone. And they get Brent Burns, another offensive defenseman, older, more experienced, definitely slower, but still has that potential. Gets them with 33% retained to San Jose. So San Jose is tanking, I guess. We're going to see Erik Karlsson go somewhere soon, I think. And they get rid of Burns. They're going to get rid of Karlsson, in my opinion. But great for the Hurricane. They get another offensive defenseman.
The Sharks, a rebuild that never was rebuilt.
I know, they just suck.
They're
like,
stopped.
You know what? We're going to suck this year, but maybe we won't. It's like, no, you will.
You probably will. But, yeah. And then the big one that I saw just a couple hours ago.
This is the big one. Connor Brown leaves the Senators. He's out of here, going to Washington. What a shame for a second-round pick in 2024. Crazy stuff. Oh, yeah, and Johnny Gaudreau's in Ohio.
Okay, Gaudreau in Columbus for 7 years at 9.8 average a year.
Fire the cannons, baby.
Did this guy
fire the cannons? Boom.
Does he know where he's going to play hockey?
Does he know he's going to Ohio to play with Patrick Laine?
I don't know if he knows that he is going to Columbus. I think he just saw the price tag and said, "I'll go there."
Well, Calgary offered him more.
I heard that, but you must really not like Calgary.
You must hate Calgary, Johnny Gaudreau.
If you're gonna leave Calgary, promising young guys, you know, the team's in a nice. I'm not saying Ohio's not a nice city.
No, it's not.
Calgary's a nice city. You say, bye, Calgary. I'm gonna go to Columbus for I think this is the second. So other than Calgary, this is the highest contract he was offered. I think, other than Calgary.
Yeah,
I think.
I think that would make sense. Yeah. But he, man, oh man, like he should have gone to New Jersey.
I heard New Jersey offered him 7 years for 9, so that extra 0.8. I mean, after taxes. I think that makes a big difference. But
yeah, so oh my God, craziness.
I don't even think he looked at where he was going to play hockey. But hey, there you go. You got a franchise guy for the next 7 years.
Put him on a line with Laine.
You better make something happen. For that amount of money for 7 years, you got to make something happen.
They're going to make something happen.
All right. You heard it here first.
Columbus in the playoffs in the next 2 years. No, I don't think they're going to make it. They suck. Oh, my God. They're so bad.
I can't believe he chose to go play. He definitely probably got so many offers. Yeah, less money, but teams that were probably much better. Never mind New Jersey. I wonder what top-tier teams that had some cap space.
I think the two top teams were New Jersey and the Islanders that were really wanting him.
See, even the Islanders, I feel like would be a better fit.
And it's close to home for him. That's what he wants. Anyway,
we got this guy. I think he saw a price tag, and that's what he wants to do.